Good morning, dear students. Myself Ranjit Kumar, and today I'm going to discuss about reciprocating pump. So basically, whenever we talk about the types of pump, there are two types of pumps: dynamic pump and positive displacement pump. Dynamic pump, mainly centrifugal pump. So centrifugal pump, as we know, here in centrifugal pump, the pressure is basically developed by dynamic action of the impeller. In case of positive displacement pump, basically certain amount of volume is taken into an enclosed volume and then it is forced out against pressure to require for the required application. Now see the difference between dynamic pump and positive displacement pump. Dynamic pump means we can say mainly it is centrifugal pump, and positive displacement pump, that is reciprocating pump. So the differences are very simple one. So first one difference is simple in construction. It is more complex. It can operate at high speed, so it is very compact in nature, whereas reciprocating pumps are limited of its speed in its speed because of the higher inertia and moving parts. So similarly, you can see these are some main differences. You can go through it. Now types of reciprocating pump. First one is single acting pump. Single acting pump, you can see here there is a cylinder, a piston, cylinder piston arrangement is there. The piston is being connected with a piston rod and then a crank mechanism. So when this one is moving in positive x direction, here the vacuum will get created, and vacuum means negative pressure will get created, and because of the negative pressure, this valve, that is suction valve, is getting lifted up. So the water or liquid is being sucked inside the cylinder, and at that moment the delivery valve will remain closed, and when the piston is moving in negative x direction, that is towards the cylinder head, at that moment, because of the higher pressure here, this suction valve will get closed and delivery valve will get opened. So we will have the discharge from this delivery side. So this is single acting pump. Whereas in case of double acting pump, you can see the arrangements are made like this, means suction and delivery valves are installed in both ends of the cylinder like this. So when the piston is moving in positive x direction, in this side the suction will get created as in first case, whereas whatever the liquid or fluid present in this side, other side, here it will act as the delivery is true, and here because of the higher pressure in this side, this delivery valve will get opened up, whereas the suction valve will remain closed. And when the piston is moving in other direction, that is negative x direction, at that moment, here whatever the fluid present here, that will get compressed, means the pressure will get raised, and because of the higher pressure, this delivery valve will get opened, so and the suction valve will get closed. So during the positive x direction movement, we are having the discharge from this side, and from during the negative x direction movement of the piston, we will have the discharge from this side. So every time we are having the discharge. Now next one is duplex pump. Duplex pump is nothing but again a two cylinder piston assemblies, and where the both of the pistons are connected by a single crank, and those cranks are 180-degree apart. Later on we will discuss it. Right now next one is triplex pump. Triplex pump is nothing but a 3 piston cylinder assembly, as you can see here, and the cranks of these pistons are shifted by 120 degree apart. You can see here side view of the crank. So they are shifted by 120 degree apart. So discharge we are getting here is much smoother, because you can see here in case of single acting, the discharge will be we are getting only during the delivery stroke, and no discharge will be taking place during the suction stroke. Whereas in case of double acting pump, we are having the discharge in both of the stroke, but fluctuations are larger here also, although it is more uniform than the first case. But here in case of duplex and triplex pump, we are having more uniform discharge. Now come to the next case. Introduction of reciprocating pump. Now see the discharge here. So see here, if L is the stroke length, L equal to 2R, that is stroke length, R is the radius of crank, then the discharge through the pump we can calculate here as volume of the liquid. And how much is the volume of liquid in the cylinder? Inside the cylinder during one stroke, we can see here we are having the discharge as volume is equal to area of cross section multiplied by length. So this one is the volume we are getting delivered in one complete rotation, because we are getting discharge only during delivery stroke. So how much is the total volume is L into A. So in one cycle LA discharge is there. So we are having N by 60 cycle. If the crank is being rotated with an RPM of N, then N by 60 cycle per second. So we can multiply it. So we are having the discharge as ln by 60. In short, we write here as ln. So ln by 60 will be our discharge. So we can calculate here omega. Omega is nothing but 2 pi n by 60, or n can be represented in terms of omega. So 60 omega by 2 pi. So discharge we can calculate as putting these values here. So we can calculate discharge by this. Now come to the power or work done per second by the pump. Work done per second by the pump is nothing but, as we are aware that every time the pump is being utilized for developing the water power, and if Q quantity of water is being lifted up, so how much is the total energy here? So we can calculate the energy as rho GQH. So rho G into Q into H. So, and H, water is being lifted from sump to the reservoir, so it is HS plus SD. So this is the work done per second, or we can say work done per second is nothing but power. So power we can calculate as this formula. As far as double acting is concerned, double acting pump, simply this one is the discharge. So when this one is moving in forward direction, the discharge will be ln by 60. But when this one is moving in backward direction, so at that moment, because the area will get reduced because of the piston rod. So if area of cross section of piston rod is APR, then the area will be nothing but A minus APR. But the area of cross section of piston is much larger than the area of cross section of piston rod, and so it can be neglected. So if we neglect that one, then the discharge will be nothing but it will be twice of that in case of single acting pump. Next one is slip of pump. Slip of pump is nothing but the difference between theoretical and actual discharge is known as a slip of pump. So it will be positive when because the Q actual may be lower than Q theoretical because of the leakage and the losses. So whenever there are losses, then slip will be positive. Percentage of slip is represented by Q theoretical minus Q actual divided by Q theoretical into 100, and coefficient of discharge is again represented as this formula. But there is one more case where we can have the negative slip. Negative slip will be occur when negative slip occurs when the suction pipe is having large length, whereas delivery pipe is of short length. Because when suction pipe is of large length, because of the inertia or whatever the fluid moving there, so it must have some acceleration also. So because of the inertia, the valve remains open. Now see here, see in this diagram, when we are having the longer suction pipe, at that moment, see the inertia, because of the inertia, fluid is moving in upward direction, and at that moment when at the end of suction stroke, the suction valve should be closed and delivery valve should get opened. But because of the larger length of the suction pipe, the inertia force is large, and because of the larger inertia force, at the beginning of delivery stroke, this valve no longer get closed and it remains open for some duration, and that's why some of the fluid is coming into the cylinder and directly moving in the delivery side. So even the suction valve remains open for some duration, even though the discharge delivery stroke when the suction pipe is large and delivery pipe is short. At that in that case, when see here, when the suction stroke completed and at the beginning of delivery stroke, the suction valve should be closed and delivery valve should be opened. But because of the larger length of the suction pipe, the inertia forces are there present, and because of the inertia, this valve remains open for some duration, even after the starting of the delivery stroke. So some of the liquid is coming inside the cylinder and going directly to the delivery side. So here the delivery will be more than, or discharge will be more than what the discharge we are expecting from the cylinder here, and that's why the actual discharge will be larger than the theoretical discharge. So here in that case, actual discharge will be larger than the theoretical discharge. The slip will become negative, or in other way we can say that actual discharge is larger than the theoretical discharge. Now see here the effect of piston acceleration. Already you know the piston displacement we can calculate from here. If the R is crank radius, omega is the crank angle, Then x we can calculate as the displacement of pump. Simply you can see from here, x we can calculate as r minus r omega t. So piston velocity, that is nothing but dx upon dt. So r omega sine omega t. Then piston acceleration we can calculate by differentiating the piston velocity. So omega square r cos omega t. Now applying the continuity equation, let us see, if v is the velocity of fluid in the pipe and a is the area of cross section of pipe, then we can apply the continuity equation in the pipe and in the cylinder. So av it must be equal to capital AV. So from there we can get the velocity of fluid inside the pipe. So acceleration of fluid in the pipe we can calculate by differentiating this velocity. So we can get this one value. And force required to accelerate the liquid in the pipe is nothing but mass into acceleration, and mass is nothing but density times volume. And volume of pipe, if A is the cross sectional area of pipe and L is the length of pipe, then we can write here as rho L into A by A omega square r cos omega t. And intensity of pressure we can calculate here by simply dividing it, because P is nothing but a force by per unit area. So force per unit area we can calculate as pressure intensity due to acceleration. So pressure head due to acceleration we can calculate, that is P by rho g, and P we have calculated here. So P by rho g we can calculate. So in standard form we can write, rearranging this equation and writing it as L by G A by A omega square r cos omega theta. So pressure head in suction and delivery side due to acceleration can be written by this formula, because the length as well as area of cross section in suction and delivery pipe may be different, and that's why the head due to acceleration in suction and delivery pipe may be different. Now see the effect of velocity due to friction. Head loss due to friction, as we know, whenever any fluid is moving, then there must be frictional loss, and frictional loss can be represented by Darcy formula, that is Hf equal to 4Fl V square by twice dz. And here we already have calculated the velocity of fluid in the pipe. So putting this value we can get this equation. The maximum value of frictional head loss we can calculate as the sin theta will have the maximum value when theta equal to 90 degree. So this sin theta will become equal to 1. So maximum value of friction force we can calculate by this formula. Now see next one topic as indicator diagram. It is a diagram which shows the pressure head of the liquid in the cylinder corresponding to any position during the suction and delivery stroke. We already have derived the formula for work done per second by the pump as rho g ln by 60 into Hs plus Hd, where rho g is equal to W. W is nothing but a specific gravity of the liquid. If we consider W a n by 60 as constant, then this work done per second by the pump is directly proportional to L into Hs plus Hd. And this is nothing but area of indicator diagram. So work done per second by the pump is also represented by Wn by 60 multiplied by area of indicator diagram. Now see the ideal indicator diagram. When indicator diagram is drawn by neglecting the frictional head loss in suction and delivery pipe and effect of acceleration of the piston, then the diagram is known as ideal indicator diagram. So see here, as we know, the atmospheric pressure we are having in the environment is represented by H atmospheric. So when during the suction stroke, the negative suction pressure is being created here, or vacuum is getting created here. So negative pressure head we can represent in downward direction. So Hs we can represent in downward direction. But during the delivery stroke, the maximum pressure developed above the atmosphere is equal to Hd. So Hd will be nothing but the delivery pressure. So during ideal indicator diagram is drawn on the axis of stroke length and pressure head. This one is absolute pressure head. So if somebody is interested to calculate the absolute pressure in the suction side, so we can see here, as we are creating the negative pressure here in suction and positive pressure during the delivery. So absolute pressure in the suction side can be represented as H atmospheric minus of Hs, whereas the absolute pressure in delivery side can be represented as H atmospheric plus this Hd, that's delivery here. So this one is suction stroke. So when the crank is being rotated from 0 to 180 degree, suction stroke completed, and when the crank is rotated from 180 to 360 degree. So as the direction is itself shown here in negative direction, that's why it is written as theta equal to 0 to 180 degree. And absolute pressure head during suction stroke, as we can calculate here, this one absolute pressure will be nothing but this one value, and this one value is nothing but H atmospheric minus of Hs. And as far as absolute pressure in delivery side is concerned, this one is at atmospheric plus Hd. Now come to the next topic, that is indicator diagram, when we consider the effect of acceleration in suction as well as delivery pipe. We already have derived this formula, that is because of the acceleration, this one head is being generated there. Now see here, when theta is equal to 0 degree, we will have the maximum value of HAs, that is cos 0 will become equal to 1. So maximum value of cos theta will be equal to 1. So we are having maximum value when theta equal to 0. Similarly, when theta will be equal to 180 degree, it will have again the maximum value that of negative of this one. But when theta is equal to 90 degree, that is at the mid of, when the piston will be at the mid of the cylinder, at that moment HAs, that is acceleration head, will be of minimum value, that is 0. So now see here, during the suction stroke, we have to create more suction head because we have to accelerate the liquid in the suction side, and because we have to accelerate, we have to generate more inertia force there. So we have to create more suction head, that is Hs plus HAs. This one is the negative pressure we have to create. Whereas at the end of suction stroke, because whatever the fluid is coming, that is already having some inertia, that is moving with some inertia force, and that's why we have to generate lesser head at the end of stroke. And that's why here you can see we have to generate not Hs but Hs minus of HAs, because we need to have the lesser value of suction here at the end of stroke. Similarly, during delivery stroke, you can see, because the liquid has to be discharged to the delivery side, so it has to be accelerated. So because of that extra acceleration we have to provide to the liquid, we should generate more pressure head, and that's why at this point how much is the more the head. So acceleration head we can calculate from here. When theta equal to 0, this much is the acceleration head we have to create to accelerate this liquid in the delivery side, and that's why we have to generate more head here. But at the end of delivery stroke, because whatever the fluid there is moving, that is already having some inertia force, and that's why we don't have to create so much head at the end of delivery stroke. So we have to create less head, that is we can see that one amount as HAT. So this one is the indicator diagram. But as far as work done is concerned, we can see here work done is nothing but 1 by 60 multiplied by area of indicator diagram. And here area of indicator diagram, as in ideal case or ideal indicator diagram, the area was simply HS plus SD into length L. Whereas in this case you can see whatever the area is being added here, that one is being subtracted here. Similarly, whatever the area added here, that one is being subtracted here, and that's why the total area of the indicator diagram will remain same. So we can say because of the acceleration head, the work done per second will remain same, or power supplied to the pump will remain same. It does not have any effect on the power or work done. Now one more thing. See, at the point C dash we are having the maximum pressure, because maximum absolute pressure is corresponding to the point C dash, and all because everything has to be designed, or our casing as well as other parts has to be designed as per the maximum pressure, and that's why maximum pressure has a lot of significance. So maximum pressure we can calculate, absolute maximum pressure we can write as H atmospheric plus HD plus HAD. So this one is the maximum atmospheric pressure. Whereas minimum absolute pressure will occur at the point A dash. And value of this A dash we can calculate as H atmospheric minus HS minus HAS. So this is the minimum atmospheric pressure. Again, it is also having significance because as we know, the evaporation of fluid starts taking place when pressure of fluid goes below the vapor pressure of the liquid. So minimum pressure should be above the vapor pressure of the liquid. So the cavitation may starts occurring when this minimum pressure goes below the vapor pressure of the liquid. Now next one is the effect of friction in suction and delivery pipe. Here we have not considered the effect of friction, only we are considering the effect of friction, not acceleration. So already we have got this formula, that is frictional head loss is 4FLV square by 2dg. So velocity is written as A by S r omega sine theta. So see here, when theta is equal to 0 and 180 degree, this whole term will become 0 because velocity will be 0 at the beginning and end of the suction as well as delivery stroke. But when theta is equal to 90 degree, the frictional head loss will have the maximum value. So when theta equal to 90 degree, we will having, here we can see, we will have the maximum head loss. Whereas when theta equal to 0 and 180, that is at the beginning of suction stroke and end of suction stroke, whereas at the beginning of delivery as well as delivery stroke and end of the delivery stroke. As sine theta square is present here, so nature of the curve is almost parabolic in nature. Now the last one topic as indicator diagram, when we consider the effect of both acceleration as well as friction in suction and delivery pipe. So as we have seen earlier, ideal indicator diagram is this one, that is area of indicator diagram we can calculate as L into HS plus SD. So this one is the ideal indicator diagram. When we consider the effect of friction, so friction, after considering the effect of friction, we are having this indicator diagram, and when we consider the effect of friction also at that moment, here we can get this one value. Here you can see HFD max is nothing but the value of HFD maximum value, whereas HFS max is corresponding to the maximum value of HFS, and it occurs when theta is equal to 90 degree. So this one is the indicator diagram when we consider effect of both acceleration as well as friction. Thank you. Next topic will be covered in next lecture.